billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tamim bil khair. Nahmadu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Amma ba'd. Fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Alhamdulillah, with the mercy and blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, today we are sitting together with a very important question, which is about investments or finding financial solutions. So we are joined with a panelist group here who are financial experts, and would like to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakumullah khair wa ahsan jazaa for being here. So as we get started, I would definitely like to introduce yourselves, and we will be sitting here for a conversation of how we can best find these solutions to manage our finances that we have and still do it in the correct way. So I'm joined by Brother Aamir. We will hand over the mic to you.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for that. So my name is Aamir Sultan. I've been in the industry for about 2+ years now. And we are meeting here today just to have a good discussion on this very important topic, as you did mention, sister. And hopefully we will bring more value into the halal way for investments in this session.
Jazakumullah khair wa ahsan jazaa. Sister Amber.
Assalamu alaikum. So yes, my name is Zain, and thank you so much, Javeria, for the opportunity to share what we do. This is definitely a topic that is really close to our hearts, and we really want to make a difference in the Muslim community as well. So there's many perspectives out there. This is just one of our perspective and our journey that we were sharing with you today. So whatever difference we can make, we welcome that. Definitely the model that we operate from is Amazon of financial services. We don't just suggest solutions blindly. Everything is customized and according to the needs of a family or a business owner. So we do a financial needs analysis, which is complementary. And after we discover the gaps, if there are any gaps, then we go towards suggesting solutions. And there's many departments, and we will touch on a couple of them today. Of course, the wills and trusts, like the Javeria you've shared with several of your contacts, which is a great topic that we have done a few times to really bring the value and the importance of that to the community. That is definitely an area we all need to be proactive in. And today we will touch on a few topics, and we have our partner who's going to talk about her story. So thank you so much for having us here.
Jazakumullah khair. We have Sister Tabana Jabeen.
Assalamu alaikum again.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Tabana Jabeen. I am also a financial professional. I am new to the industry, but we are here today to talk about this industry and investing from a Muslim's perspective. Allah knows best, and may Allah guide us all in making the right decisions. So I'm here just to share my story about what led me to this business and what led me to choose some of these options for myself as an investing option.
Jazakallah khair wa ahsan jazaa. I'm really, I really first want to thank everybody to be here, despite your commitments and everything, to sit together and answer. And just to give a perspective to anybody who might be listening to this, is that we were talking about that, of course, we are temporary in this world and we have to exit, and Allah help us exit in the right way. So the concept was about writing our will and making sure it's rightly placed. And there's a concept of having a trust, which is like a revocable trust that should be there, which will protect us from using probate. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm really new with these terminologies. So here we had like a conversation going on with an organization where you can actually do these, get these documents in place, you can edit it, you get access to attorneys and things, and you can actually have all your assets placed or properly identified in one place. And then we were talking about some things regarding interest and how those come into picture, especially when you go into direction of like investment funds and like college investment and things like that. So life comes fast, and we're glad that we have SMEs in the area. So inshallah, we will start with Sister Tabana to share your story with us in this journey. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it really beneficial for us and anybody else out there trying to invest in a halal way in here and hereafter, inshallah.
Right, thank you. So like I said, again, I'm new to the industry, so before I start, رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أعوذ بالله أن أكون من الجاهلين. So I want to share my story of why I'm in this industry, and secondly, what are some of the options that I've availed myself. So, like a lot of us, right? We are looking. We were talking earlier about leaving a legacy, but more than that, for me, it was about having an option to be able to take care of my family without the need to spend time away from them. To have a business that I could conduct from anywhere in the world while I'm spending time with my family, and still be able to take care of them. So that was the reason I started looking into additional options to diversify from my mainstream job. So I still have my mainstream job that I do during the day, my daytime job, and this is something that I'm building as a separate stream of income to hopefully be able to replace my current daytime job, but with this one being able to provide not only the financial security to my family, but also for me to be able to have more time with my family. So that was my reason to look at different options. So I've gone through different things. This came about because obviously I know Br and Aamir, but also just this year, COVID happened. And with COVID, I realized that some of my investments obviously didn't pan out as I hoped it would. Right? And so I had to look at other options. So financial services industry is always a big question mark. I'm big about not paying interest. Anything that I've bought, anything other than my very first house, I've done without interest. So I completely believe in not paying interest. I believe in not taking interest. And so it was a very fine line to walk to figure out how do I work in the financial sector, because we live in a society that's based on interest. So it's easy for me to choose to not pay interest, but when it comes to these kind of things where interest comes into play, especially when you're talking investing. So I had to look into options to say, where could I invest, right? What are the companies I could invest in? Because if you just think of S&P 500, it could include a company that deals in alcohols or, those type of things that I would consider forbidden for us. So I had to make sure my investment, where I was going to put my money, was going to be at least in options that are not tied to some of those markets. But before I even got to investment, the leap of faith to step into this industry came about because of, again, me looking for something. But then as I was doing my research, I was thinking about, right, I'm going to be tied to when we have our clients who could be investing in different things. So I had to look through, I had to, work through it. And I also strongly believe in doing istikhara. So my I guess, end all be all for making sure that whatever decision I take is, especially when it's a big decision in this life, I rely on istikhara. So I did istikhara to do the business. But, if it was not good for me, Allah would have put hardship in my way and, hopefully deterred me away from this. But so when I started this business, I looked at it and from my research perspective, similar to working in a bank. I'm not directly tied to interest. I'm not directly, making money off of any kind of interest. I'm providing solutions, regardless of what solutions they choose, regardless of what they, what a prospective client chooses to invest in, doesn't change what my income level is. So that was one of the bigger decisions or thought processes behind why this industry and why thinking it's okay to be in the financial services industry, just like we have banks. We have Islamic banks, they deal in similar things. There's a different way around it in terms of what's called by Sharia, the permissible, I guess, interest or the investment. So that's where I initially started with. As I was doing this and I was doing the research, talking to family members, talking to people that I know that are very knowledgeable in Islam, the answer that I got time and again was, if you keep digging and you keep trying to find, well, what if I have a client who invests in this and this happens and then what? And then, getting into that deep, the answer was, if you want to find a reason not to do it, you'll find it that way, right? Because you can keep digging and come up with something. So you have to look at it. What's your intention behind it? Are you encouraging people to invest in something they shouldn't be? No. Are you doing it the right way? Are you trying to find solutions for people that are going to help them and protect them? Yes. Right. And so just like any other professional, whether they're in bank or mortgages or those kind of things, it's similar to that. So that was and then istikhara on top of that, right? Istikhara for me was the main thing. So I joined. Now, as we go into the products, so there's a plethora of products. We are financial professionals. We deal with multiple products, including life insurance, annuities, wills and trust, land banking. So there's a lot of different options. So how do I decide on what's right for me as a Muslim, right? So investing in doing a wills and trust, that's just the basic. Everyone should be protected. I don't think our religion ever says not to protect ourselves. There's no question in my mind to obviously have a will and a trust to make sure that my assets are going to transfer to my family without any concern. So that was just the basic to do. Next step is, where do I want to invest, right? So there's the insurance, there's the annuities, there's land banking. I've actually invested in all of these options. Insurance is a question that a lot of Muslims have about whether having a life insurance is permissible in Islam or not. Again, Allah knows best. I would encourage everybody to do their own research. This is my perspective. So when I looked at insurances, it's not that I'm putting money down and betting against my life. I'm looking at it as a retirement option. So just like we would invest in anything else, we are in this country, so looking at the laws of this country, where your true tax-free retirement option is actually a life insurance. That's where I'm looking at it that way, to say, I am putting my money away. I am giving it time to grow. I made sure the options where my money would grow are, from my research, Islamic, in the sense of I'm not investing in S&P 500, I'm not in NASDAQ. I chose an option, to the best of my research, to the best of Aamir's research, was not one of those things that would be considered forbidden in Islam, right? So it was more about cash and gold and those kind of things, so commodities, real estate, so it doesn't get into some of those other interest-bearing accounts or some of those things that could be wrong. So that was my option, to go the route and make sure that the insurance that I'm doing is going to be my money that grows. It's growing based on accounts that I considered acceptable. Again, I keep stressing because I want to make sure that this is my perspective. I would encourage everybody to do their research. But so that's how I invested. I chose my options for my life insurance options, for my annuity options, and I'm using it as my way to be able to have a retirement income for me. Now, the question about, again, doing whether you do life insurance or not, to me, it's similar to protecting ourselves against anything. We do medical insurance. We may or may not use it, but when we do need it, the company does pay a lot more than what we have put in. Why? Similar concept on life insurances, right? So to me, whether to do life insurance or not was not that big of a question. I believed in it. I believed in the reason being from investment perspective and not betting against my own life to just get more money. So that was my reasoning behind being able to do these things, because I not only was I investing, but I was investing in options that I considered the best halal option out there living in this country, to still be able to secure my family's financial security, essentially. So that's a quick overview. I'll stop to see if you have any questions for me.
Tabana, this is Ghazan for going through all that and giving that background. We really appreciate that. So I guess a quick question is, I know you gave this example of somebody working in a bank and not really, dealing with interest, or somebody, and, maybe we can start with that, is that somebody who works in the IT department of a bank, they're not really dealing with any interest per se, but they're still, they're architecting sort of the systems that the bank uses to earn, what it does.
Yes.
So I think what you were saying was that from your perspective, you would not sort of consider that something, that somebody's dealing directly with interest, but per se, it's sort of just somebody who's facilitating a function, but is not directly tied to earning interest. Is it?
Correct.
I understand that? Okay.
Correct. Right. I'm not directly tied to the interest that they are going to earn, right, or the interest that the company is paying. Because if you start looking at, just like you gave the example of IT, or even if I look at my other job, my company, I'm pretty sure, would get loans, right? They do pay interest on that loan. And if my salary is coming out of that, does that mean my salary now is, tied to some interest? So that was my point about saying, if you start looking at things that way and digging into it, you'll find a way to make it not right? So you have to trust, from, again, my perspective, I had to trust to say, am I satisfied with the level of research that I've done? Am I satisfied that, yes, I'm providing financial solutions? I'm not encouraging anybody towards any kind of interest. I'm not tied to what kind of interest they are going to get, what kind of return on investment they are getting. They get to choose whatever they're doing. My income comes from them finding a solution, just like it would be for any bank, any other options, or any other vertical, or any other industry per se.
Right. I guess, and again, I just was curious about your perspective on this, is that, again, taking the same example, of a bank, the primary source of a bank, their income is obviously revolves around interest. Whereas if you were to take the example of, let's say, some other company, could be an IT company, could be some other company, and surely, they would, pretty much most companies, if not all, they do have some sort of credit, some sort of loan, may not be completely 100%, but, some small portion as well. There is something in there, but sometimes their primary business could be more around, let's say, selling computers, or, providing some other maybe property services or something like that. But it's not revolved around loaning money to make more money.
Right.
How did you sort of, did you consider that? What was your perspective on it?
Well, I did. So the products that we have, it's not really giving money to anybody on interest, right? It is an investment option, and you're investing just like you would invest in any other thing. So you gave the example of, right, so if a company is in computers, so the way I looked at it is, if, let's say, I work for Best Buy. Best Buy sells a computer. The computer that I sell to my customer, they do a payment plan on it. Now they're going to pay interest on it, right? But so does that mean that my sale now is negated or not valid Islamically because that customer is paying interest? I don't think so. Again, that's my personal opinion. So I look at these products the same way. If I'm providing somebody a solution, and if I look at wills and trust or real estate land banking, there's no interest there, so that's aside. So the two products that are really in question that come to be insurance and annuity. For any Muslim clients, I do talk about with them to say, you want to be mindful, right? You want to be mindful of where you're investing your money. For non-Muslim clients, wherever they are investing, it would be similar to them getting a computer and paying interest on it on a monthly payment plan, or investing somewhere else. So the way I looked at it was, I am providing a solution that is not directly tied to me encouraging them to invest in a particular option or talk about how much interest you are going to get. I also, look at it as in this day and age, we have to be able to save money, right? It is a principle of Islam also in my mind. But yes, we do plan, we do prepare. So the planning and preparing in this day and age, you have to do the best possible with all the information that you have. And in my mind, the research that I did, that led me to again think about things from a perspective of how it compares to any other industry or any other vertical versus strictly digging deeper into, well, but what if they're earning interest off potentially an S&P might be an alcohol company or something like that, right? So the first thing was, are the companies in that portfolio from my perspective halal? And then the second piece is, you're getting interest, right? So how do you talk about those profits? So it's a profit and loss thing, right? When you're investing, just like stocks you would do, it's a profit and loss. It's the same thing investing here. You have a profit and loss. We just have a system in place to be able to buffer you from that loss, so you don't go into the negative. And that's a system built in that doesn't say that you're not experiencing a loss. It's just a different way of doing it. So Islamically, profit and loss in my mind is allowed, right? And so that was my thought process.
Okay. Sounds, again, we appreciate that. I think not knowing a whole lot about the products per se just now maybe sort of limits my my ability to sort of ask some more specific questions. But and I think once we if we get to that portion today, then hopefully we can ask some more questions around some of that. But it seems like what you're saying is that it's really more around just providing a service of I guess providing solutions to folks out there versus getting involved with the specific transaction that they're getting into. Whether that's based on interest or not. So I guess a question is that for, specifically from a Muslim's perspective, then, I mean, is there a way to sort of weed out, what products may not work for a Muslim so that sort of, again, again, as you said, that there's like a plethora of products out there. I mean, does that sort of help limit the focus on, if there's, 1,000 products out there, from a Muslim's perspective, you could discard maybe 900 of those or 800 of those, and then you can just focus on what is remaining?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I was saying, earlier as well. There are a couple of products that I would say, without any concern, I would say, yeah, you can do this, right? But the others, where I would ask others to research, would be the insurance and the annuity piece of it. And I know with the time that we have for the session today, we won't get into the details of every single product. We can absolutely have a secondary call for that. But the purpose that I wanted to make sure got through for this session was, as a Muslim, there are investment options out there. We do need to do our due diligence. We do need to do our research. And we need to make sure that we are satisfied from our own perspective that these options are going to be the right options for us. But a lot of times, unfortunately, living in this country, Muslims think, and again, I'm generalizing, that Muslims think that there are not that many options that are halal and that are right for them. So the point that I do want to get across is, yes, there are options for Muslims out there to be able to do halal investment and be able to plan for their retirement, for their kids, for expenses that may come up, whether it's your college planning, it's planning for your kid's wedding, it's planning for your own retirement. There are options out there that are halal for a Muslim to be able to invest in, right? So yes, there is a definite list of products that should be okay without any questions or any doubt, and there are other products. Within those products, you have options to make sure that your return on investment is tied to things that are that would be considered halal.
I think that is really beneficial. I like the way how you really are open to sharing your perspective on things, and definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to weed out and pick the ones which are right, thinking about what legacies do we want to leave behind, right? And it is
Right.
interesting, like when it comes to interest and riba, it is a very fine line. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to see the right as right. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Baqarah, right, Allah has permitted trading. There's trading, there is profit loss as well. So many people think, oh, riba is also like, there's profit and loss and things like that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden that. So Allah protect us from any traces of that and make the right decision. And I like that message, like, once we go in more detail, we can see what is something, and that's the whole point of opening up this topic. Like we together, like as a tawasaw bil haqq and tawasaw bil sabr team, we kind of help each other protect ourselves from from any loss in this world or the hereafter, right? But because as a Muslim, our goal is not just this dunya. Our goal is, the eventual goal is akhirah, and this dunya is not that we are trying to build here. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. So jazakumullah khair wa ahsanul jaza for your time and input on that. Is there something else that you would like to share with all of us?
Yeah, my word of advice would be, again, do your research, make sure you're satisfied with what you're getting into. Make sure, absolutely plan, right? Plan for your kids. Allah said Allah provides, but Allah is also asking us to make an effort for it, right? Allah is always going to provide for us, but we have to take the right steps to plan and protect our own families. So please do consider options for you as a Muslim. Do your due diligence, do your research to make sure that what you're investing in, what you're putting your time and effort into, is the right solution Islamically and for your family, right? So, but please do look out there to see what is available for a Muslim to be able to invest in, to protect themselves and their families, and be able to build a better future financially and as well as religiously. So, like you said, it's not just about this world; it's this world and the next world. And we need to make sure that every step that we take is taking us on that right path. And and as you build and as you protect your family, always remember to have a share for those who are in need, because it's also our goal and our responsibility to hukuk al-ibad is also very important, right? So as you invest, as you earn, always remember the share of others who are needy and who we should be supporting.
Right, that's true too. And this due diligence is something so important. Sometimes we have like these fancy Islamic names for such institutions, right? We have banks which call them Islamic, but inside them, there you still see dealing with riba and usury and things like that. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala definitely help us do the due diligence and, as rightly said, do the istikhara and see, enable us to see what is right. But definitely, if we are, as a basic thing, so anywhere if it accumulates into overall perspective to helping something which is wrong, and riba is not a small thing, it's a huge thing. I invite everybody to definitely read through that. Allah protect us from going that route, because in Islam, as a Muslim, our perspective is so different, and Allah guarantees that whoever fears Allah, Allah will provide a way for them, right? So even we see all the companions and how they worked and how they left behind a legacy. It's amazing. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just have tawakkul in Allah and definitely tie our camel, do our research and find what is best for us. So anything that I would like to add, Sister Amber or Brother Aamir, if you would like to add anything here?
Yes, hi. Thank you again, Tabana. That was a lot of stuff that you covered. And, you actually covered a wide gamut of questions that is in the Islamic community and the Islamic faith. So I want to acknowledge you for that. You took your time and effort today. There's not much I would like to add, but there is one thing that really drove me into this, into the financial world, is ask yourself one question. Yes, Allah is always going to be there for you, right? No matter what. But when I go, if anything does happen to me, what situation will I leave my family and my kids in? Allah will always be there, but I want to do the best for my family as much as possible. So that is one question we all need to ask ourselves. And if we do want to do more, there are a lot of solutions in the halal way. And just do your research. And if you want to call us and talk to us about it, see what research that we have done, we are more than willing to share and to come forward with all of that information to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And, thank you so much for the time that all of us took today to really share the information. My last closing thought would be that, what are we, like Tabana said, what are we doing to leave behind, not just for our family, but also if we have an opportunity to leverage solutions and dig deeper to really understand why some people, even Muslims, are taking advantage of this, what's the reason behind that? And not because they don't understand X, Y, and Z, it might be because there is a realization that's beyond what meets the eye, right? Why not leverage solutions that you can leverage to leave behind, not just for your family, but for people that are in need, and you could, that could further use those funds to further, a cause that matters to you. That would also be a sadaqah jariyah, in my opinion. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity and being a contribution to our lives also, Javeria. So we look forward to giving you more information that you need for your family, and looking forward to exploring this area with you guys even more and deeper.
Jazakumullah khair wa asl jaza, and we will leave the numbers to get access to all of you, inshallah, with everybody, so that anybody has questions, you're most welcome to reach directly there. And I certainly appreciate that, it's really interesting that on the Day of Judgment there are two questions being asked, how did you earn, and then how did you spend it? So it's really, really important we pay attention to, out of the 5 questions, there are 2 questions regarding the wealth. So it's very imperative. I'm reminding myself to pay attention to this. Sometimes we have loads of jewelry in our bank lockers, we have properties, we have things, we have investments, but our family has no clue what is where and what's going on, right? And that comes very sudden. Nobody really comes back for a second chance. So we really need to pay attention to this, and definitely do our diligence. And this is really beautiful when we are able to sit together, work together. Then inshallah, Allah make us of those who do yatafakkaruna. They reflect, they look at options, and Allah enable us to, if there is some flaws in the systems, we be able to work together to build systems which are total in alignment with Quran and Sunnah, right? But it will all start when we start investing our time and reflecting on this, inshallah. And that's how we saw how Islam spread, and how the Muslims were able to touch the lives of so many. So we definitely, I am really passionate about AIM, which is like aspire, inspire, and make it happen, because we're all getting closer, to exit very soon. So may Allah help us have a good exit, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward everybody who is striving to facilitate these solutions for everybody. So jazakumullah khair wa asl jaza once again for your time. May Allah put lots and lots of barakah in everyone's time, their ilm, their amal, their life, their rizq, and accept all efforts and reunite us in the highest level of Jannah. So we'll continue this conversation, and anybody out there who benefits from that, there's comments there. If you have any specific questions, most welcome to write them there, or reach out directly to our financial specialists, and let this circle of exploring going on, and that can help us all, inshallah. So unless anybody has anything else to say, we will stop here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Jazakumullah khair. So a reminder from yes, I'm sorry, Br Aamir.
I was just saying thank you.
Jazakumullah khair. So والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. By time, mankind is in loss except for those who believed, who did the righteous deeds, who reminded each other of truth, and who reminded each other of sabr. May Allah make us of those. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.